105 through the Fan YouTube channel. Kevin Gray alongside the longest tenured member of 105 through the Fan. He is the super producer for the Shan and RJ show you can hear every Monday through Friday, 5:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. His name is Troy Hughes. Troy, what's up, man? How are you?
All right, so number one, that was a great intro by you. I appreciate that. However, number two, I think my goatee got grayer when you said the word tenured and longest, because I'm the peepaw of the radio station, I guess.
What is it?
Actually, no, Mike Fisher is. Yeah, Mike Fisher, and then I'm down. So I'm like the grandson to Mike Fisher, who then makes me the eldest. Got it.
And you've been with the Fan for how long exactly now?
Let's see. I joined the Fan right when it started. So right around, what was that, 2008, 2009? So yeah, I was there at the time CBS Radio, and I was helping them with another radio station. And when that radio station went away, they were like, "Okay, you're going to go work at the Fan." I'm like, "Awesome! What's the Fan?" I have no idea what you're talking about. And so in radio, they have something called flipping. And that's where you change formats. And they had changed the format from Live 105.3 to the Fan. So we were going to be a sports station. So I've been there ever since.
And for you, how has the business evolved from your perspective, being, as you say in your Twitter profile, a radio lifer? How has it changed for you in the past 12 years being with the Fan and seeing how it has grown to what it's become now?
Well, I tell you what, luckily for me, I really truly have been a lifer in radio. I started doing radio when I was 15. So I've seen radio tremendously evolve to what it is today, from back when I started doing it at the age of 15 and just learning the business to actually working full time as a 21-year-old. And back then that was like the early 2000s. So that time it was just spin, money, promote. And the spending has gone like this. So as the spending goes down, your creativity and your willingness to really drive yourself and drive the people around you has grown. Because like I said, back in the day, you could just spend a lot of money exposing yourself, and that's all you need to do. Now you really have to work hard. Now you have to grind. You have to do what you have to do. And luckily, that's what this radio station has done. You know, even from when its infancy began, and it was, haha, you're the fail. You guys suck. You guys aren't going to get any listeners. Even from that time period, I knew personally that I needed to grow professionally. And I've done that. And along the way, we had some people that worked the station, that left the station, that were asked to leave the station. And nevertheless, we're now in 2020, and it has evolved into a strong core of hardworking individuals that want to make radio great. Because, like I said, I'm a radio lifer. Like you said, I'm a radio lifer. So to me, radio is number one.
Take us inside the mind of a producer for someone like you who is producing Shan and RJ every single day, and what it is like to work with two individuals who have put themselves in this space where, honestly, the Fan has become one of the biggest as far as covering DFW sports, specifically, obviously, with the Cowboys. Take us inside the mind of a producer doing what you do every day.
That's a great question, because a lot of people think producing just means putting together topics or grabbing an audio clip and that's it. I'm a big analogy guy. I like to use analogies when I describe things. And so for a producer and what I do, the best analogy I give is, think of us on a road trip. Shan and RJ are in one car. I'm in another car. Of course, it's from Platinum Chrysler Dodge Ram Jeep or Platinum Ford if you want to go there, between Highway 80 and I-20 in Terrell. But their car is about 2 miles behind me. And it's not because I'm trying to get ahead of them and I'm trying to get out of the way and I just want to get to the end destination. It's because I need to see what's in front of me before they do. So as a producer, I'm constantly trying to think in front of them. Whatever Shan's talking about, okay, where's this topic going? Okay, let me pull a sound clip here. Or, okay, let me grab this stat. He's starting to talk about Dak Prescott and the fact that, you know, now that he's lost for the season, how does this affect the passing game? Let me look up some stats. I need to look ahead of him and not with him. So as the role of a producer, that's what you always have to do. You always have to look ahead. You're never in the moment. You're ahead of the moment.
Yeah. What's one thing that is probably maybe a misconception about what you do and how you do it versus what folks may think, this is what Troy does on an every single day basis?
Ooh, a misconception of what I do. I can
Mm-hmm.
tell you the misconception of what I am. And that's people thinking that we're Howard Stern and Ryan Seacrest and we live in mansions and I don't have time to talk to you right now. I'm polishing my granite driveway. That's the biggest misconception about the radio business itself. But misconception when it comes to myself, I would probably think that the misconception is that as a producer you're constantly just sitting there and you're basically waiting for the host to tell you what to do. Like that's your job as a producer. You just sit there. No, you don't do that. You never sit there. You don't wait for them to tell you what to do, nor do you tell them what to do. Like some people think, you see television shows and movies when you see like a TV crew or a news broadcast and the producer's like, "Okay, you're going to go to camera here and you're going to talk about this." We don't do that. We work as a team. So for me, the misconception is that either I'm waiting or I'm directing, and that's not the case. We're all the same. Well, Shan and I are the same. RJ's not really. He's RJ, But that's the thing. That's probably the misconception is that I'm directing you to do what to do, or I'm waiting for your call. It's not like that.
When was the moment that you knew that you, Shan and RJ, were like, all right, this is a thing, like we're on our way? What was kind of that moment from you, if you had one?
TOLO. That was it. I mean, it was TOLO. Jeff Kavanaugh gets the credit for it, but it actually came from a listener who came up with the concept of TOLO, turn it on, leave it on. And that didn't come, I think that was only like 4 years ago, maybe, when that happened. So we had already been on the air for, 7-8 years. And the fact that I was seeing the word TOLO and I was hearing the word TOLO and people were printing stickers that said TOLO. Like, I'll be honest, when I first heard it, I thought, okay, are we really doing the YOLO thing? Are we going with the Drake YOLO? Are we trying to be cool at the time, late 30-year-olds and like, oh, we're with the kids? And then it was like, no, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with a brotherhood. It has to do with its camaraderie between ourselves and the listeners, because that's another misconception. People like to put radio guys up here and listeners down here. Like, no, you'll listen to what I say because I'm up here. No, we're all bonded in the same thing, which is we want to be entertaining, we want to be informative, and we also want to know that we're just like you guys. So when I saw the word TOLO and the phrase being thrown out left and right, and the Facebook pages and the merchandise being made by random people with their own money, that's when I was like, all right, something's working here. It's working.
Yeah. And as you've continued to work with these two and obviously others at the station, what is it about this particular station for you being as round as you have that gives it what you believe has the kind of longevity to be in this market and do what it's been able to do and grow the way it has been?
Because we're not as inside as other people. And I don't need to cast stones here and let you know what stone I'm throwing, although it may have an AM signal on it. But we're not as inside. We're not as protective and try to think of ourselves as like, this is our home. And you're allowed to listen to us on the front yard between the fence line and our windows, and then try to get a peek into what's going on. That's the biggest thing right there, is that we've opened ourselves up to the listeners. So I think that helps in longevity when you allow people to be a part of your life, not just from 5:30 to 10. I mean, 24 hours a day. And, Shan talks about it a lot. Social media is the biggest key when it comes to a connection with the fan base, especially right now during a pandemic. We can't do a Flagtober hit. We can't get together for an anniversary party. We can't, do things that we probably could have done in the past. So we rely on social media. And that's a way for us to keep that relationship with the listeners and also to provide that longevity that we want.
For you obviously Texas A&M Aggie, you're a football guy, Texas guy.
Yep.
What's wrong with the Cowboys, man? What's going on?
Well, I've been really thinking about this quite a bit. I had to do some research because I knew you were probably going to ask that, and I realized that they suck. That's what happened. Uh, Honestly, I will say this: I don't think the Cowboys suck. I really don't. I just think they don't care.
Okay.
They don't care. They don't care. They don't care right now because half the team already got their contracts, so they can polish their granite driveways, as I mentioned earlier. They can work. They've got that security for themselves when it comes to monetary value. And then at the same time, you lose Dak. And when you lose Dak, I mean, that's massive. I mean, it doesn't matter what team it is. You lose your starting quarterback, you're probably done so. It's almost a 99% chance you are done so. So I don't think the Cowboys suck. I just think they don't care.
Interesting. Yeah, because when you have a lot of injuries, you got a lot of folks that are paid, a little bit of apathy kind of sets in. It's like, we'll try again next year.
Exactly.
One thing I've always wanted to ask you about the three of you, what is it about the three of you that folks, when they look, they say, oh, well, this is, Shan, RJ, Troy, what is it about what the three of you do that makes the three of you unique as far as what you can share about folks? What's the thing that you think makes the three of you click together?
Probably because we're individuals and people can relate to it one way or the other. There's a great guy named Randy Lane, longtime radio consultant, that always said character development is the key to successful radio. And it doesn't matter if it's, a pop station or a classic rock station, or in our case, a sports radio station. You want to have character development. Now, that doesn't mean that I am a character. It doesn't mean that I am, I'm a normal guy here and then I'm the fiend and then I become this monster. No, it's basically you find out what traits you have as a character and people can latch onto that, or they can relate to it, or they can hate it. Either way, they get a reaction. So for us, you have Shan, who is the hardcore sports guy, lives and breathes sports, nothing else but sports, but also watches crap reality TV shows, which some people love. And people are like, yeah, I like that crap as well. Then you have myself being kind of the professional guy, as you mentioned, the long tenured member of 105.3 The Fan, but also the dad, guy who loves his family, loves talking about his hot wives and her two friends attached to her chest. You've got that in me. And then you have RJ, the meathead. You have RJ, who is, even though he loves sports and even though he's lovable, he is that guy that every group has. It's like, God, this guy, this guy, so cocky, so arrogant. I mean, he's our boy. We love him, but man, he just thinks he's the greatest thing ever. People can latch onto those. Whatever character it is, you latch onto it. And that's what you get from all three of us.
Everything is pro wrestling. Everything is pro wrestling. Last question before we let you go. What do you want to continue to see and allow fans to experience, not just with Shan and RJ and the show that you produce, but the fan experience as this station continues to grow, that will give it the kind of longevity that fans will continue to latch on to?
Exactly what you said, experience. I want people to understand that we're not just there to give you the information you need about a Cowboys game or what Luka is doing possibly in an NBA final one day, or what the Rangers are doing when they're at the bottom of the barrel once again. It's not just that we're an informative radio station, but that we're an experience that you feel like every day, God, I need to go to radio.com app. I need to have that app ready. I need to listen. I need to experience what's happening in the mornings whenever they're talking about this or that. It's the experience that I truly want this station to grow with, and to grow with the listeners, or in this case, the Tolos.
He is the super producer of Shan and RJ.
Oh,
he's a Texas A&M Aggie, and more importantly than anything, like me, he's a pro wrestling fan.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We need to get more pro wrestling talk right now.
I know, right?
Mustafa Ali is doing some incredible things right now in WWE
right?
and NXT.
We might have to start a wrestling podcast. Me, you, and Kevin Hageley have to start a wrestling podcast together.
No. I'm gonna somehow have Shan involved in a bet that I'm guaranteed to win, and then he's going to be on the podcast. And I'm going to ask him all questions about the Iron Sheik. And I know when he's going to look at it, he's going to be like, and who's dude right now? It's like, what? We're just talking about classic wrestlers. Fine, we'll move on to Mustafa Ali. Let's go on.
Right. Yeah. You can hear him every day alongside Shan and RJ. His name is Troy Hughes. Troy, thank you so much for the time, man. And we'll talk to you again soon, man.
All right, see ya.